This will be the second part of our session on building resilience in coastal communities, starting off with a talk from Shannon Hardisty with the International Pole and Line Foundation on the right fit, how emerging technologies can adapt to small-scale fisheries, lessons from implementation. Shannon, come on up.
All right, good morning. Sorry, I'm trying to get my voice volume right. So, good morning. I am Shannon Hardisty from IPNLF. I'm the strategy manager for Yayasan IPNLF Indonesia. And yeah, I'll be talking about technology in small-scale fisheries. Next slide, please. Oh, there's a clicker. Oh, that is very helpful. There we go. Okay, so who is IPNLF? We are a charity that works with everyone throughout the supply chain, from the fishers all the way through to the retailers and the processors in between. We work with socially and environmentally responsible fishing gears. So we call those one-by-one fishing gears. So it's hook and line or pole and line, hand line, and troll. So it's all about one hook, one line, one fish at a time. Our vision is a thriving fisheries that works in balance with nature, catching one-by-one fish, but also we're really about the balance between fisheries and people. So our team is a small team. We are 22 people, about 16 of us full-time. We have our main global charity that's based in the UK, but we have long-term projects in Indonesia and the Maldives. We actually have 70 members. We work across 25 countries, and we work across 58 fisheries supporting transparency. So the way I always think about IPNLF is that Shakespeare quote of, "Though she be but little, she is fierce." So what I'm going to talk to you about today is a couple of our projects that we've done in the Maldives, so bird radar, and then also some sea-to-shelf traceability here in Indonesia, looking at some of the lessons and really questioning the type of technology and when is it applicable, what are the motivations, who is it being developed to support. So, bird radar, we introduced this in the Maldives. So this was based on the idea that fishers, the way they sort of would identify the schools and map their fishing activities was they would follow the birds. So using nature as a natural indicator. Nature as a natural indicator? Great English. So basically what happened was we introduced these radars that then they were able to, over a vast distance, identify flocks of birds, and the fishers would go to those locations. Very simple, and you would think very happily adopted. What's also interesting in this case is in the Maldives, we had to develop it a lot around fisher behavior and fisher beliefs. So whilst in some places, a lot of fishers are dependent on fads, and they will just go directly to the fads, in the Maldives, their first choice is to go for free schools. And only in the last worst case scenario will they go to fads. So that's why when we were looking at technology implementation in the Maldives, we had to look and start with fisher behavior. So they used stabilizing binoculars. I wish I could tell you more about this. Unfortunately, I have not been to the Maldives yet, much to my despair. And what they found was actually the first iteration of the project did not work. Not because of the technology was there, but it was because the fishers were simply not interested. They felt that it cost too much, and why use the technology when they can use their own skills? So we had to go back to the drawing board and actually found a different crew and re-engaged with them, and they were really keen. And essentially from that, particularly again because of the way the Maldives is a very small country as well, the success of this traveled by word of mouth. So it wasn't really all that much about, sort of marketing and getting the companies to buy in. It was all about getting the fishers to buy in and sharing, getting them to do the communication. And what's actually emerged from this is that larger fish were being caught because they were being more selective. There was less bycatch. And actually, an entire new business was set up within the Maldives that is dedicated to the purchasing and installation of these bird radars. So currently, there are over 25 radars being used in the Maldives. There is a QR code. This is my attempt at technology. Thank you very much. Where you can read all about the case study. So whilst we're looking at these incredible technologies, sometimes it is a case of keeping it simple. In Indonesia, what we have piloted is on-hand line fisheries. And I think if you saw the Navcast presentation yesterday, this is relatively similar technology, but without the capsize and SOS stuff. But basically, on-hand line vessels, the fishers catch the fish, they have an NFC card, they tap it onto a solar-powered device that then captures the location, the vessel name, the time. All of this is really important for that traceability. It's then, that tag is put onto the fish, that then again, that card is tagged when it's landed at port. So then you have the landing time, so you know exactly how long it's been on the water and in that form of ice storage. Then again, it's tapped at receiving, at which point all of that information has been integrated into the processing company's own system. So what essentially can happen is you end up with a fish with a very funky tail, and it ends up on the shelf, and you can actually see through a QR code on the shelf all the way through where your fish was caught. You have the entire story of your fish. And it's also really key for quality control, because then the processor can identify, okay, well, we have a problem with this fish. There was a problem with the loin, maybe histamines, something like that. They're then able to go and check every single fish from that vessel for quality, do a double check. So you've got that benefit for the processor as well. We're also looking into the next step is we want to do storied fish, where you can actually see down to the individual that caught your fish. So some of the challenges, this is about implementing, I think, technology everywhere. When you're based in one country, but maybe the supplier is based elsewhere, getting those technology upgrades, fixing issues, you've got to have that support from the technology provider, because we are just fish people. We don't understand it. There are challenges down to acts of nature. We've had devices that were destroyed by lightning strikes. There's also the socialization with the fishers. So it's that explaining that perhaps if the device is connected to the battery, there's then concerns about, well, that's going to affect their power. So we need to adjust the technology to be solar powered so that it doesn't affect their power. Also down to cases of, oh, shoot, I have 30 seconds. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead because what I really want to get to is every single person plays a vital role. And something that I really encourage all of the tech providers here to consider is, what is your motivation behind the technology development? And who are you partnering with? So for us, it's all about one-by-one fisheries. It's about thriving with the people. It's not necessarily about making catch more efficient. It's about making it more sustainable and ethical. But also, there has to be clear benefits to the fishers, and we need the government support to help drive that market buy-in. So you've got all three of those, and with everyone there comes mixed motivations, so you have to think about transparency from the very beginning about why are we doing this and who is it for. So thank you very much, and thank you for letting me go over time. Apologies.